all candidates forums. In Grand Forks, we're going to be hosting 2 forums. Tonight's forum is going to include school trustees and it's going to include candidates for city council. My name is Michael Strutoff and I will be the moderator. The forum this evening is sponsored by the Boundary Country Chamber of Commerce and Mr. James Wilson, there we go. James Wilson is representing the chamber here. Sorry. James has participated in organizing and setting up the various forums that are happening across the boundary. There was one last night in Midway, there's one tonight and one later in November. Now, I have some instructions that are hopefully going to help us work through tonight's forum, and will make it move smoothly and allow for a lot of participation and for a lot of participation. So first of all, each candidate is going to have 2 minutes to make an opening statement. The order of speakers has been decided by a draw a few minutes ago. We are going to allow questions from the media, and I haven't seen if any of our media people are here. There's the man. Okay. And we're also going to allow questions from the floor. We're going to be asking the questions be about 1 minute in length. We know there's a lot of topics here that people might be interested in, but as the audience, if you have a question, you do only have 1 minute because you're not running for one of our positions. And we're going to give 2 minutes to the candidates to answer the questions. We also are trying to do something a little different because quite often in past forums we've had folks stand up and say, I want to ask the same questions to all the candidates. Well, here we've got 6 folks running for school board, and we have 16 folks running for council, and we just don't have the time for that. So what we're introducing is something that we are calling a rebuttal option. So for example, if someone from the audience asks a specific trustee a question, and that trustee candidate answers it, one of the other candidates can use one of their rebuttal options. They only have 2 for the evening, but if that's an issue that they really want to participate in the conversation, they will have an opportunity to use one of their 2 rebuttal options to answer that question as well. So they're going to have to make some strategy here as they work through the questions. And that will also apply for our city council candidates as well. They will have to audience questions that will be to a specific candidate, and then council candidates can choose to exercise one of their rebuttal options if they want to get in on that particular question. But you only can do that twice. This way we hope everybody has a chance to answer a question if someone's not selected very often in the questioning process. Now, at the end of our first portion of our forum with the trustees, we will allow each of the candidates to have a closing statement, and we'll go in reverse order for those closing statements as well. So I think we've covered everything off. I hope that the candidates have the process in mind. So city council candidates, you'll have a chance to see how it's working for the school trustees, and I did try to work with the school trustees with them so they have a sense of what it's going to look like. Again, James is asking that if any of you have a cell phone, could you please be sure to put it on vibrate or shut it off so it doesn't interfere this evening. Maybe I should check mine too. Most embarrassing. We will have a short break while the school trustee candidates leave the stage and people need a comfort break, and then we'll reconvene. But we do anticipate this is going to go close to 3 hours. Okay, I'm also going to ask the candidates to make their opening statements from their seats. They do have a mic, and we'll ask them to share it. Usually we have candidates come to the podium here, but because it's so tight because of the number of councillors running, we are going to ask them to speak from the table that they're seated at. And if anybody feels comfortable to stand, by all means, maybe that would be helpful to stand. So the order of speakers for the school trustee forum. Oh yes, one other thing. Thank you, James. To assist the audience and our candidates, James is going to be signaling with a yellow folder a 30-second warning. So as you start your 2 minutes, you know when you see the yellow folder, you've gone 3/4 and you've got another 30 seconds and we're going to be asking you to wind it up. When you see the red folder, your 2 minutes are up. And if we have a persistent candidate, I'm going to ask you all to applaud to help them wind it up. So we hope they find this out. So we're going to start off with the 4 candidates that are running for the 2 seats in the city of Grand Forks. And the speaking order that's been determined is we have Katie Jepson will be starting off, followed by Jamie Massey. And maybe Jamie and Katie, maybe you could wave your hand. There's Katie.
No.
Oh, Jamie.
Sorry.
Katie, could you wave? There's Katie. Jamie, Ken Hershen, and Teresa Zanza. That'll be the speaker order for city candidates. And then for Area D, we have the 5th speaker will be David Reed, and followed by Val Rich. And then we'll move into the question period. So the timing is going to start momentarily, and I'm inviting Katie Jepson to make her opening statements. Please use the mic.
Hi, my name is Katie Jepson, and it's an honor to run for school trustee. I've been directly involved in children in our community for over 20 years. I run a licensed family daycare across from Hutton School, where I've been involved in over 300 families from our community, and have had over 600 kids attend my daycare in the past 20 years. I'm a mother of 3 who have all attended elementary school and have graduated from Grand Forks Secondary School. I have 2 grandchildren who will also be part of our school system in the future. Because my children are adults, I now have extra time to focus on what has always been my passion, the kids. I have a bachelor's degree in children's studies with an emphasis on child psychology and counseling. In the past, I have taught at all 3 schools in our community. I've also had a parenting column in the Gazette. I know these kids, I know these families, I know the staff, and I know the teachers. I am running for school trustee because I sincerely want the best for these children. Being a child advocate is my passion. If I become a school trustee, it will put me in a better position to be a voice for the children, for the families and the teachers. It is important that our children have a safe learning environment. Together, we can put an end to bullying and create safer schools. Open communication with students, families, teachers, and trustees is important, and I want to spend time in the schools, interacting with the parents, the staff, the teachers, but mostly the students. What are the needs and their concerns? How can we make it a better school? How can we create a bond and work together as a team? How can we promote a caring, compassionate, fun environment? I want to support the positive programs that are currently in play and help create new ones for child safety, health, and acceptance, and create a happy environment for the schools. Vote for me, and I will make our schools a place where kids want to come to learn, to be part of a school family where there is safety and companionship.
Thank you, Katie. Our second speaker is Jamie Massey.
Okay, I've never spoken with a mic before, so bear with me. All right, my name is Jamie Massey, and I am 33 years old, and I've lived in Grand Forks for nearly my whole life. My parents chose to move here over 30 years ago because they saw potential in the valley. I still share their sentiment. As a child, I attended both Purley Elementary and GFSS, completing graduation in 1999. At that time in my life, I was unsure on the path of my future, so I decided to stay in Grand Forks, where I met my husband Sean, and we married in 2004. We have 2 wonderful boys, Brayden, who is 10, and Jordan, who is 8, and 5 nieces and nephews ages 6 months to 10 years. I am proud to say that all school-age children in my family attend Purley Elementary School. Through the years, I've been a stay-at-home mom while volunteering here and there. I became involved in the Community Christmas Hamper program 5 years ago, and I'm currently in my 3rd year as kitchen coordinator. I've also been part of the Curly Parent Advisory Council going on 3 years, and I'm in my second year as PAC Vice President. Last year, I started working as a new nurse supervisor at Curly, which I discovered quickly was an enriching experience. Spending so much time with all of your children began to inspire me to do a little more. I thought maybe this was a way that I could make more of a difference, or that there was a way that I could make more of a difference. That is when I decided to run for school trustee. I'm running for school trustee because I believe I might be able to add a new perspective to our board. I'm hoping to spark new ideas and maybe encourage questions that haven't been asked before. I'm hoping to be actively involved in the many facets of our district and hope to be approachable to anyone who has a question or concern. I want to see every child in our district succeed to the best of his or her ability. Education is so much more than just academics. We're creating and encouraging future adults. In many cases, the young people we nurture today will go on to create new and fantastic future we cannot even fathom right now. We all need to work together for our children's future. We need to ensure that our education system is working for them, and that every little piece of that system can work harmoniously together.
Ken Harshinen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken Harshinen. Thank you all for coming out this evening to listen to the Board of Education candidates, and good luck to all candidates. Over the past 9 years, the City of Grand Forks has elected me as a trustee. I have worked hard to fulfill that important obligation, and I look forward to continuing that role for another term. I bring a great deal of experience and understanding to the Board of Education table: honesty, compassion, and leadership skills. 30 years as a school teacher and many other educational experiences. As a teacher and as a board member, I have served on many committees. I have spent time in union negotiations during my time as vice president and president of the Teachers Association. As your president trustee, I am a representative for the BC Public School Employees Association, Operations Committee, Community Literacy, Finance, High School Scholarship, and a representative on the Okanagan Labor Relations Council. I regularly attend Hutton Elementary School Parent Advisory Council meetings as a liaison. I work hard and put in many long hours to ensure the success of all our students. I am passionate and I care a great deal for our educational environment. If elected, I intend to continue to support the success of all our students in the district, our dedicated teachers, support staff, and administrators. As both a parent and a grandparent, I want an education system that gives all our students the best opportunities to be successful in whatever career they pursue. The City of Grand Forks has a lot to be proud of, and I will continue to work hard for the constituents in our area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Our fourth speaker in the city candidates is Teresa Rosanson.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. I'm proud to call Grand Forks an abounding home. I graduated from Grand Forks Secondary School, and my husband and I raised 4 wonderful children here. I'd like to offer my most sincere thanks for the opportunity I've been granted to work as a school trustee on behalf of the students of the Boundary District. It's been an honor to work with my fellow trustees and the committed and dedicated employees of this school district. I value my interactions with parents, community members, and partners. We all work hard for kids, and we play mutually supportive roles in ensuring their success and well-being. I've dedicated myself to putting our children and their success first in everything I do. Trusteeship is a responsibility I bear for the children of this school district, for our education system, is not something that I pick up and put down. I carry it with me at all times. It has shaped my focus, my direction, and the path in life. I continue to be motivated in my work as a school trustee by a compelling ideal that I might play a part in building a better, stronger education system so that our kids have every chance for success. This ideal has taken my commitment one step further, and I am in my second year as president of the BC School Trustees Association. I believe my efforts locally are enhanced by my work at the provincial level and bring an informed perspective to my local role. I believe a positive outlook, working respectfully, and maintaining a strong focus on students and their needs go a long way to overcoming challenges. I'm a calm and reasoned thinker who sees the value of power in working as a team to address issues. It's a great responsibility to be one of the governors of an education system that helps to shape our world through the achievements of the many students enrolled in it. I offer you my experience, my voice, and my steadfast commitment to our children and their education. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. So these first four candidates, Katie, Jamie, Ken, and Teresa, are running for 2 seats in the city of Grand Forks. To vote for these candidates, you have to be a resident of Grand Forks. The next 2 candidates for school trustee are David and Reed and Val Rich. There is 1 seat, so the 2 candidates are competing for 1 seat. And we're going to start off their opening statements with David.
All right. Hello, my name is David Reed. I'm married to a supportive wife and I have a 12-year-old son in the school system. I've represented Area D as a school trustee for the last 3 years. I thought I would do things a bit different tonight. Sorry, I can't read my own typing. I'm not going to talk about the items already mentioned in the local papers. I thought I'd talk about transparency because it seems to be a topic people like to talk about. So transparency in finance is tough. It's hard to get people out to those meetings, no matter how great of a job Jeanette does with the reports and PowerPoints. I'm pretty sure we could offer free tax returns if you just sit through a 2-hour finance meeting, and the turnout wouldn't change that much. People have different views on transparency, and it is all dependent on their interest and how it affects them directly. But we have to balance how much time and resources we spend informing people without taking away the resources from the students. I think going into the middle school model, there was a sense of mistrust with the board, even though the board looked at the model to improve education in the district. The school board and staff spent a lot of time keeping the public informed through different kinds of media. We worked on gathering people's opinions through public consultations and online through ThoughtStream. People would come up to me and say that I already had my mind made up. So I would say, well, tell me what I've decided so I can stop worrying about it then. As a board, I thought the process was transparent, and as the vote was held in an open meeting at Purley School, before each trustee voted, they gave reasons why they felt that way. I've been a part of some large decisions in the district, and I know I speak up about things that I believe in. I think working through the middle school model showed how transparency and communication have to work together to be successful. Thanks.
Okay, the last candidate with an opening statement is Val Rich.
Good evening, it's good to see you all. I usually sit down there and listen, but it's kind of hard to beat all these guys here. They're well spoken and well experienced. We all bring diversity and experience to the game of public education. And I've been in the Valley 14 years, and my husband and I moved here. We have 2 grandchildren to raise. That was a challenge. Plus, between the both of us, we raised 13 kids. And we've got 42 grandkids and 5 great-grandkids. So we've been in the education system. You know, I graduated in the 60s, raised kids, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then we had to go through this whole retirement and then learning about education. You know, participated in the PAC and the sports and raised money for the recreational equipment for the kids. It was a lot of work and I learned a lot. Never really got involved to understand how we run this whole system. So I started learning and researching school goals. And those issues came up along the way. And so we pounded on them and asked questions and whatnot. So going from there, I am into the transparency and openness too. We have closed meetings, which I don't know what goes on in there, only the results maybe. And then the school act says that they're to supply summary so that we can access it. They kind of skirt around it. Well, we're discussing important points, so you never know what goes in that closed meeting. And that's a really interesting place to be because there's a lot of debating and we're not so guarded. And it would be nice to have a better take on it information as students make decisions. Finance as well, the finances, I've been through them left and right.
Thank you, candidates. Now we're going to open up the floor to questions. And again, a reminder, we're going to start with the audience before we move to the media. If you do have questions for one of the candidates, you need to come to the mic. There's one at the end of each aisle. Identify yourself and identify who you're asking the question to, and keep the question to 1 minute. The trustee candidate that gets the question can answer it. And then if any of the other candidates want to respond, they can use one of their 2 options and get into that question, dialogue on that question as well. So we will start off with questions, and the gentleman to my right there.
Okay, my name is Hamilton, James Hamilton. I'm impressed with the City of Grand Forks candidates, the 2 experienced individuals, Kenneth and Jamie. Kenneth and Teresa, and Jamie going to bring a fresh approach. Teresa mentioned responsibility, which I was questioning whether I should ask her. But Katie was the only one actually, I noticed, that mentioned safety. But this is a heavy question. According to my research, the Wi-Fi that's being used in the schools is a great danger to the reproductive systems of the future mothers and fathers of this community. It has been well proven in other places it is not against the law to have Wi-Fi. What is this is directed at Katie Gibson because of safety. I would like to ask the rest, but one at a time. So anyway, are you willing to really look into the dangers of Wi-Fi, and if it proved that they're really bad, are really dangerous, are you willing to step out and do something about it? That's my question.
I think we need to teach the kids how to use these things and stay safe. I think technology is important, and we need to keep up with technology. We need to stay current, and if it helps a child learn, we need to use it.
Thank you, Katie. Sir. Any other candidate that would like to address this question? Okay, if not, next mic.
My name is Rob Stevenson. I'm from Area D of Grand Forks, and my question is directed towards Teresa Zanson. Mr. Zanson, as the chair of the BCSTA, you were asked during the teachers' job action what your view on the lockout and the 10% wage cut was, and you stated that you were in support of both of those positions. In your opening statement, you stated that you are committed to children and want to be working respectively with all parties involved. Could you please explain to me how your support of the lockout, which prevented teachers from working with kids during lunch hours and after school, shows a commitment to our children?
Thank you for the question, and I think what we need to do at this forum this evening is to some degree be able to separate the role that I fulfill as president of the BC School Trustees Association, which carries forward a message on behalf of all trustees in the province, versus the role that I play here as a local school trustee. The labor dispute that we went through was difficult for everybody. It was a very difficult time. And the employer and the teachers union both had roles to play. The strike walkout was not something that anybody wanted. What we as a board and as an individual trustee, what we were advocating and working for was to get to a resolution through negotiation. And as a matter of fact, even as an association, we were asking that lockout be set down for the end of school so that we could have students and teachers in school together to be able to end their school year. So the fact that we were where we were, that was part of the positioning that was done through both the union and through the School Trustees Association.
Any other candidate want to weigh in on this one? Okay.
Hi, my name is Deborah Kloppenbrink. I'm a teacher at Prairie School. I have 3 IEPs in my class this year of 22 and 5 students who
are in the process of being assessed and, analyzed, whatever the word, by school staff and by medical staff going through the doctor route. I would like to know from Jamie, Katie, and Val.
No, one trustee, just one.
Okay, I'm going to pick Jamie. I would like to know if you, as a trustee, will be willing to speak up publicly for the needed funding to fully support our students, and how do you envision yourself advocating for them?
Tough questions, Deb.
Well, first of all, kids are our number one. Every single kid that's in the school system, I advocate for their success 100%. At this point in time, I'm still learning a lot about the role of a trustee and what it is exactly that we do, and how we handle all of the things that have to do with our children and how we support them. But I would absolutely advocate to support every single child to the extent that they need, absolutely.
But how would you do that?
Well, research, ask questions, to find answers, and then try to come up with different choices that we do now, different paths that we're going down now, possibly. Try something we haven't tried before.
Thank you, Judy. Is there any other candidate that would like to pick up on that question? Val? Okay.
For assessing children, we did have a psychologist there, but she moved on. And if you don't get those kids assessed, the teachers really do have a problem. So you have to really get on it. And I think the board needs to accommodate that process and be aware of these children that need to be assessed. It shouldn't be sort of open up the communication between the school and the teachers. You just can't leave them hanging, and they're, professionals, it's all on time, but right now the kids are in school now. And this lady's trying to teach. Like, how do you do that if you don't have an assessment or some kind of plan in place? There's got to be somebody in this district that's capable of doing it quickly.
Teresa, you'd like to weigh in, and then Katie.
Advocating for increased investment in public education is something that, as a school trustee, I've been doing since the day I started out in this role. It's something that this Board of Education has done continuously, that every trustee across this province advocates for. We know the connection between the state of your education system and the economic prosperity of your citizens and of your province. Recently, I was able to make a presentation to the Select Standing Committee on Finance and Government Services, and that's exactly the position that not only our board, but trustees across the province took, was trying to emphasize the fact that without that increased investment in our public education system, which clearly, with the situation that we had with the labor dispute, our public was in support of increasing investments for our students. But without those investments, we are putting in peril the idea of being able to have a prosperous province. So those two things are connected, and there needs to be a balance of everything across the province. We need to have a balance between what we invest in education, what we invest for our families, what we invest in our communities, and all the rest of it. There needs to be connections between all of it, a comprehensive plan that will cover everything.
I believe we need to work together as a community as well. A lot of these kids are assessed at different levels, not just within the school system. We have so many good programs in our community. FIS for one, that assesses kids, and I think it would be good to work as a team and communicate with other people in the community.
Okay, next audience questioner.
Hi, I'm Norm Stafford. I'm the president of the Boundary District Teachers Association. I hope all trustees will answer this, but I'll direct it to Val first. With a finite level of funding, trustees are in a situation where you have to make difficult decisions every day, every week, every month. You have to try to find a way how to balance this all out. How do you feel? What process do you want to put in place? How will you determine which areas need funding first? How will you prioritize the funding that has to go out when all programs, all teachers, all staff are screaming for the money? So number one part of the question is, how do you determine who needs the money the most? And right now, what do you think are the areas that need the most?
Well, first of all, you have the list of all these things that we need, but I'm really keen on the evaluation of children that need to be evaluated so the teacher can have a program to work with to help them. Now, because we have closed meetings, I'm not too sure how we line up the finances for this, but I'm sure I'll catch on really fast. But I do know that we could ask for all the money from the government we pay. But right now, their attitude is, well, you're going to give me the money? How are you going to translate that into numeracy and literacy? We have to back up what we're doing. So what money? And we do have a fair amount of money, but it goes to sustained prices as far as I'm concerned. We always hit the bottom. We shut the cafeteria. Let's see, the washrooms, I can go on and on. We never ever quite get there at that little corridor that runs way above and beyond compared to the other school districts. So we have money, it's just where we put it. So you get a list, and you start really nailing it down and opening up the floodgates and spend the money where it's needed.
Okay, Ken? Being a school teacher, and I've run into some difficulties as well, as you referred to, Norm, but before we can put money anywhere, we have to identify the needs. If we identify the needs, only then we can address those needs. And there are a whole lot of needs. And let's prioritize the needs, and that way we can move forward addressing the needs. Thank you.
Dave? I have to say that Norm is one of the ones that does go to the finance meetings. We hire professionals to look after kind of sorting through some of the educational needs. I'm not an educator, I don't pretend to be an educator, but I know my role on the board. We consistently spend more on special needs and looking after getting children assessed to look after some of those needs. We've just started a new process where once we do make a financial decision, we report back a year later to see how that decision turned out and what the implications were. So we don't just make a decision and leave it. We check in and see what the things that we may have not have foreseen that may have come up and what we can do to fix it.
Okay, we're going to move on to another question.
Yes. Steve Mascaro. The school week used to be 5 days, Monday to Friday. You then went to 4 days. Are we going to go back to 5 days so the kids can catch up with what they've messed up due to the strike before and after school? And if not, why not?
Who are you directing the question to?
Mr. Hershey, I believe. He's been on the board the longest.
No, Teresa was important. But I'll answer that question. The reason why we went to a 4-day week, and that was before my time, before I became a trustee, was because of economics. So for the 5th day, when the buses weren't running, there were savings. The lights weren't on in school, there were savings. And in the West District, especially kids traveling from Beaverville, they prefer a 4-day week. All the parents prefer a 4-day week due to safety conditions, due to road conditions and everything like that. So they prefer. And Perhaps maybe one day we should take an assessment. Do we want a 4-day week or should we switch back to a 5-day week? I know talking to my grandchildren, they say, no, we would much prefer a 4-day week than a 5-day week.
I'm sure they go to 3 days week too.
Okay, you only had one question. Okay, that was honored. Okay. Any other trustee candidate want to pick up on this one? Val? Okay, and that's your last one, Val, by the way. And by the way, the audience has asked if you would speak directly into the mic. They couldn't hear some of your remarks.
Thank you. That was before my time, the 4-day week, but when we moved here, it was quite interesting. We had a good run at it, and it was about saving money. Well, if you understand economics and bookkeeping, money can be saved, but it can also be filtered into something else, because that's the process. You know, we've got to make decisions every year to save money. So at that time, the board was running around $300,000, $375,000, and we had a lot of kids in this district. We are running at $837,000, expenses $197,000, and we can afford it. So how can we afford that? Think about how money and saving filters into other areas. It doesn't make sense to me that a board is running at $837,000. We've got 1,260 kids. It's just a question I don't quite get.
We're going to have one more question from the audience, and then I'm going to ask the media if they have some questions and let them have a chance. Okay.
Thank you, Rob Stevenson again. I'm a teacher in this GFSS, and for the majority of the day, the doors and all the entrances are unlocked, and I feel that's probably the same in the schools in the valley. I hate even to have to ask this question, but given the times we live in, as an elected trustee and Alberta Sports candidate open to all trustee candidates, what is your plan if elected to increase the security at our schools to ensure the safety of our students and teachers?
I need to direct the question.
I directed to candidate.
My apologies if I missed that. Okay.
Well, the security has to be looked at on school by school basis. And we have to identify what is our really serious problems. And we have to engage the principal of the school. We have to engage the vice principal of the school, if you're referring to the high school. And then identify, say, okay, how do we deal with the security? If it's an issue, then let's deal with it. I'm not sure what the issue of security is. I'd like to find out. I can't just say, okay, let's just deal with it. Let's identify the issues. Okay, thank you very much.
There's no question that, especially in view of what's happened across the country today in Ottawa, that the safety of all of us, the public, and most especially our most precious, our children, are going to be something that's topmost in our minds. There certainly has been discussion at the board level and with schools and at the Parent Advisory Council level about what to do. We've had isolated incidents over the years of somebody getting in, like in a trash can in a washroom on fire, and little things like that that really make you sit up and say, okay, we thought we had good precautions in place by locking doors, but there's absolutely no question that when our world gets to be in this place that it is right now, that we need to pay attention to that and be able to ensure that we have all the precautions that we need to have in place and be on alert for anything that doesn't look right or doesn't feel right. And that's something that our school staff and our principal and our supervisors and the community are always on the lookout for. And certainly as trustees, it's something that we're also paying attention to.
Thank you. Our representative from the Gazette, I believe. Or Dave, did you want to comment? I'm sorry, did I miss? Okay.
Hi, Craig Lindsay with the Grand Forks Gazette. I wanted to ask all the candidates, just what is the one area you think, or one issue that you think is very important to you and would make the schools across the district stronger, something you can work together as as a board to improve the schools and make better.
Now, we're giving the press just a little bit of leeway because he's asking all of you, but you need to keep your answer down to 1 minute now. Okay. Who would you like to start off?
We'll start with that.
Okay, Val, and then we'll go down the line.
Well, I have a pet peeve, and that's a cafeteria at the high school, and I think that's, I've got taxes, and I didn't pay to close cafeterias. We paid for that over the years, over and over. It's a good social environment. That's one of my pet peeves, and as far as the rest of the district, well, you know, I like to visit the schools. I did that the other day, I haven't been there for a while. My grandson went there, and that was a rewarding experience. And you have to listen to the teachers, to hear what they have to say. You have to be open. You know, I watched Mrs. Coco at the librarian, talking to the kids, doing her thing that she's been doing for years. She's been teaching for 38 years, and she's hard at it. And with all this stuff that went down, she's right there on cue. And I stopped at the high school, talked to Mr. Stewart, we've had little debates. You know. He was quite informative. A young girl let me in, opened the door.
I'd like to address the whole area of bullying and work on that to improve that within our schools by teaching our kids how to deal with it and give them the tools they need to deal with it. I'd like to see putting in a program where there's more of a big buddy system, not just in the elementary schools, but all the way up through the high schools, so that the kids have somebody to mentor and befriend them and be part of their lives. That's my passion, and something I would like to tackle.
Just to expand on that, bullying is always a concern, no matter what school we're at. It is a major concern. However, I think a big concern is a lack of funding for the students. We have not been receiving adequate funding, and especially if we want to start out locally developed courses, it sure would be nice to have more funding and to develop more locally developed courses. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question, Craig. I'd like to have a learning plan in place for every single one of our students in the school district, and it is something that we've done for we've started on something like that, but I think to have it in place from the second our children enter school, we actually did a little bit before they enter kindergarten, and that learning plan will follow them all the way through. It would be something that they would be able to participate in, their parents would be able to participate in, and they'd be able to see their growth and their path through their school time, and it would be something that I think would be something that would enable us to be able to really get to know our students and what it is that they want to be able to achieve.
I think one thing we're going to have to deal with in our district is grouping of the kids. I know we're looking at declining enrollment, and we're going to have to look at some blended classrooms, maybe some 3-grade blends. This is not easy for the parents. I think the kids take change a lot better than we do sometimes, but it's something that's coming our way, and I think we can arm the teachers with the tools they need to make sure that it's also successful and we don't see any drop in the learning.
I think if I had to pick one thing that I think we could maybe add to our schools, to our district to enrich the lives of our students is any sort of courses or classes surrounding healthy lifestyles. So everything from possibly having a community garden to teaching children how to cook healthy meals to teaching them how to incorporate exercise and what that looks like for them, I think is a huge benefit to our children, especially since technology is taking over so rapidly that now we kind of have a bunch of perfect videos.
Thank you. And I have my mic back, there we go. All right, I'm going to now ask our candidates to move into closing statement mode. We are going to start with the Area D candidates for that one school board seat. And in reverse order now, I'm going to ask Val to start off. 2 minutes, Val.
And if you have any more questions, I'm going to be at the library on November 4th from 6 to 9. I do better over 1-to-1. If you have questions, I like to hear your concerns. I like to listen. I like to know what's going on. And I'm quite willing for you to pick my brain. So take care, and thank you for coming out.
So as a parent and a trustee, I try to visit the schools as much as I can. One of my favorite things to do is go into schools and ask the kids what they think their schools need. This week I talked to a grade 7 about what he thought his school needed. He talked about the soccer play day that Martin Van Werber and Darren Nordman organized last week. Thank you to you two. He talked about how he was tripped and there was no call on the play. He told me he thinks the school needs to find some better refs. Maybe a little harsh. I think the school needs are changing, and with that, you need people in place to make sure the changes are successful. With working on self-regulation and opening up the curriculum to change the style of learning, the people we have working in our district, I have no doubt we can continue to be successful. Albert Einstein said, "The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination." I think with the new curriculum, there's great potential to increase the use of our imagination instead of memory. It's exciting, and I'd like to be a part of that change. So if everyone comes from a place of wanting what's best for students, we can't go wrong. So remember to vote, and good luck to my fellow Area D candidate, Belridge.
Thank you very much to our two Area D candidates. Again, a reminder, you have to live in Area D to vote for either Val or David, and they're competing for one seat. Now, the other 4 candidates are running for the 2 seats that are designated for the city of Grand Forks. And in reverse order, I'm going to ask Teresa Sampson to start off.
Thank you. Without a doubt, public education has been through a difficult period, difficult for students and their parents, our teachers and school staffs, for the community. There's been much focus on the challenges within education. However, it is what we do in the face of challenge that defines us. As a school district, we've been creative and adaptable and have searched out the opportunities to move our district forward. There will always be challenges to overcome, but our education system should not be defined solely by challenges. It should be defined by our willingness to and ability to work together to overcome them. Right now is the time to build on our past success and to develop new opportunities for the future. Positive working relationships will key to the effectiveness of any organization. Maintaining a strong focus on students and their needs go a long way to helping overcome challenges and allows for cooperative and collaborative action on opportunities. We must continue putting the tools and resources necessary in the hands of our teachers to help them meet the needs of our students. We must be forward-thinking, flexible, and adaptable to support our students in their learning and growth. Although I also work for students in our public education system professionally through the BC School Trustees Association, I am first and foremost a trustee here in School District 51. My commitment to this district and its students has never wavered. I'm still as keen and passionate about trusteeship as the first time I stood on this stage, wanting to become a school trustee. My enthusiasm is not diminished at all. It has grown and reinforced my commitment to help value and shape a positive future for our children. Wonderful things happen in our classrooms every day. Success is a team effort, and as a team, I know with certainty that we can and will continue to grow a system where every child can meet his or her full potential. Thank you.
Ken Harshin.
I would like to thank all the members of the audience for participating in tonight's forum, and for taking the time to listen to our presentations and to listen to what we can offer as elected members to the Board of Education. As a present trustee, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We need to repair some fractured relationships with our dedicated teaching staff after the strike came to an end. Our education system in British Columbia is changing quickly and is at a crossroads. As board members, it is very important that the trustees be up to date with changes and are prepared to face and overcome them. As a trustee, we help create the conditions for students to succeed. We're tasked to hold the education system accountable. We need to make sure that all our children, regardless of background or circumstance, have an opportunity to grow and to develop to their greatest potential. We have to enable all students to be successful learners, both now and in the future. And we need to work hard towards developing successful outcomes. At the school board level, we need consistency and continuity. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to elect the 2 Board of Education candidates for the City of Grand Forks. I say elect the best candidate that you think will work hard on everyone's behalf for the success of all our students, staff, families in the area. I look forward to your support. Thank you very much.
Jamie,
All right, mine is kind of short and sweet compared to everybody else. I just wanted to reiterate that I am passionate about our children's education and the effect that it has on the path of their futures. I hope it give me a chance to represent you and your children on our school board by voting for me as trustee of the City of Grand Forks. I hope we can all move forward together and work together as a team.
so thank you very much, candidates, for taking time out and joining us. I am so sorry. I watched your name while thinking I'm making good time. My apologies. We should give you 3 minutes.
Okay, in closing, I just want to touch a bit on the whole bullying problem. As an idea, I've seen a big buddy system work in the past, like I had mentioned. If kids had an older student that could be their mentor, their safety net, someone they could look up to for help, someone they could talk to, this could be helpful. Not just in the elementary schools, but all the way up to the high school level. When kids are being bullied, they might not necessarily tell their parents or teachers, but they might tell the older students, someone that they feel safe with. It is time to learn from our programs in our community that teach a sense of belonging and oneness. Programs run by FIST, our rec centers, sports groups, Girl Guides, churches, community programs. Learn from them, team up together, partner with them to become the community we need and the community we want. We need that in our schools as well. There is safety and comfort in numbers. Each child needs to feel that they belong and that they are important. This is just one of the many ideas I have to create safer schools. We are all here for the same purpose, the kids. The needs in our classes are greater. Schools have changed, families have changed, teachers and families are frustrated, and the frustration is showing in our kids. Let's build up the morale and work as a team for a better school and community. Stand together. My favorite author is Dr. Seuss. His book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, was made into a movie, and at the end of that movie, the Who's down in Whoville, the tall and the small, will stand close together. They'll stand hand in hand, and those Who's will start singing. It's time to stand hand in hand. Maybe not singing, I'm not a good singer, but it's time to stand hand in hand and work together. Vote for me so I can be a voice for these kids, because nobody knows kids like Katie.
Thank you, Katie. All right, thank you, candidates. Much appreciated. I appreciate your cooperation. And as you make your way down, would you be sure to leave your 2 red tags? And if you open the water, could you take it with you? Thank you. We're going to have about a 5-minute break, maybe 10, if you need to use the washroom. And we're going to ask the candidates to come and make their way to grab a seat. So as you can see, we have a very full slate of candidates for City Council in Grand Forks. And time is certainly, and fairness is going to be a very difficult commodity for us to work through this evening. We are going to give every candidate a 2-minute opening statement and a 2-minute closing statement. And candidates, you saw how the trustees worked the rebuttal question. People who ask questions will not be allowed to ask every candidate the same question. So you need to be careful and manage your 2 rebuttal questions or options to make sure you get enough airtime here. So we again have taken a random draw to determine the order of speakers. And they are not sitting in the order they're going to be speaking, so bear with me if I make a mistake, I'm sure they'll be corrected. One of the other questions or remarks that we received was that although the yellow folder does go up, some candidates were not necessarily seeing the 30-second notice. So I will also make a point of saying 30 seconds. So in case you didn't see the yellow folder, you'll know that you've got the warning, okay? So we will begin with the opening statements, and we're going to count on each candidate to introduce themselves, and you're going to do it in the spot you're sitting at. There's 3 microphones that we all need to share, and the first opening statement will be made by Richard Constant. Richard.
Good evening, my name is Richard Foxton, and it didn't take long to be number 1. Born in Kiev, Europe, and I did my schooling in Czechoslovakia, and at the University of Prague. Then I graduated in electronics. I escaped Czechoslovakia during the invasion and occupation in 1968. Spent a short time in Austria, I got away the camps, and got the paperwork that I can then bring out to Canada. End up at the airport in Vancouver. No English and $7 in my pocket. Anyway, I met the scores, then in the 50s, when I started working in a shipyard. That's the next like 2 years, I worked my way all the way up to owning the shipyard. 3 years old, retired. And I expanded a little bit and gave accounts of Coast Guard, RCMP, and Department of Fisheries. And from I extended the then working there up to 30.
Hold your microphone, sir.
Successfully, and then I retired in 1989.
30 seconds.
And for the RV park, and met my wife, and we've been married for years. And then we decided to move to Grand Forks. That's where we ended, the purchase and that was beginning in Grand Forks. And the rest of it will be my finish.
Neil Craw.
Hello. I would like to welcome everyone here this evening. For those that don't know me, my name is Neil Craw. And my wife Andrea and I came to Grand Forks 127 years ago. We liked the community so much. Us, along with our family, moved here. I instruct health and safety courses at Selkirk College. I also own Twisted Forks Catering. I applaud every person on this stage that had the courage to put their name forward. And I'm pretty sure that everyone here possesses unique qualities that would benefit the city of Grand Forks. So then the question becomes, why me? In my time on council, I've seen things that worked, I've seen things that didn't work. This experience has allowed me to effectively work within the framework of what we call government. I've served 15 years on council and more than a few years as on the board of the regional district. So not everyone realizes how complicated it is and what you're actually allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Tonight you will hear candidates maybe saying, I promise to do this, or I will do this. And then they come to the realization that they can't keep these promises. Because we're working inside of a system. It's not because they don't have the passion, and it's not because they don't want to succeed. One of the qualities that council needs that doesn't get mentioned a lot, and that's the ability to say no. So whether it's to council, to staff, to other levels of government, to say yes is easy, to say no is a lot harder, but sometimes it's the only responsible answer. I would like to thank you for allowing me to serve on council for the last few years.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Our third speaker is Lorraine Deck.
Good evening. You can please some of the people all of the time. You can please all of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. There is nothing that I can say here tonight that will please every single one of you. Some of you will cast your vote based on transitory issues such as water meters and deer calls. To be angry is easy, but to be angry with the right person at the right time for the right reason in the right way is not within the power of most people. We need to pick our fights and be sure we aren't throwing the baby out with the bathwater or cutting off our noses to spite our faces. I challenge you to rise above candidate opinions and consider candidate characteristics instead. Consider who we are and what we do between elections. 4 generations of my family live here. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree and 20-odd years working in software education. I'm an organized, self-motivated team builder who adapts easily to change. I have a demonstrated ability to work well with competing demands, to set and achieve goals, and to practice diplomacy. I have excellent communication skills. I listen to understand. I've served 3 years as coordinator of the Community Volunteering Contacts Program and 5 years on the Economic Development Advisory Council. I'm presently setting up resources for Kootenai Home Share Support caregivers and serving as a member of BC Tenant Resource and Advisory Council.
30 seconds.
During the last election, Roy Ronigan in the Gazette said, an election is not a popularity contest, and those who are selected to govern on behalf of everyone should be chosen carefully. My name is Lorraine Day, and I would be honored to serve as counselor for the people of Grand Forks.
Christine Thompson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow candidates. My name is Christine Thompson, and I am here this evening to ask for your support in electing me to represent you as a councillor for our city. I have lived in the city of Grand Forks for 57 years, 42 of them as a taxpayer, paying the same rates and taxes as other residents. I worked for the city for 23 years in the finance department, ending my career as a city treasurer in 2003. I was privileged to serve on council for the 2008 to 2011 term and brought to the table my solid understanding of how municipal government works, particularly in the area of finance. During that term, I received my Level 2 certificate from the Local Government Leadership Academy after attending their educational workshops. Our city is important to all of us. We want it to grow, be vibrant, and inviting. I believe that the current council and management team have made an excellent start on doing just that, and I would very much like to be a part of the next phase in the continuing development of our city. There are many issues of concern to the electorate that I know will be brought forward tonight. Be assured that I will be listening and taking notes during the question period that follows. I will not make any promises I cannot keep, other than to listen to you, talk to you, if you so choose, and to make what I believe is an informed decision that will benefit the community as a whole. Being an elected official is far more than attending meetings. It requires a commitment of time to research and consult the electorate at times in order to make an informed decision. I am prepared to put in that time and ask that you vote for me, Christine Thompson, on November 15th.
Julia Butler.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight to this important event. Obviously, if you're here, it's because you're interested in voting. It's nice to see. There's going to be a big turnout this year, I think. As my introducer said, my name is Julia Butler. I've lived in the area for 10 years. I've been a homeowner and resident with inside city limits of Grand Forks for the past 7 years. I've worked at the Grand Forks Recreation Department for the past 3 years as a lifeguard and fitness instructor. I also own my own business doing landscaping, and I have 2 small children, 1 of whom I still homeschool. So yes, I'm very busy, but they say if you want something done, ask a busy person because they'll find a way to fit it into their schedule. Unfortunately, if I sit on city council, I will have to give up my job at the pool, and it's a conflict of interest with being on council. I will give you a bit more time to focus on council. I started attending the council meetings about 9 months ago because of an issue that I was very concerned about. And after going to many of the meetings, I found many issues within the town that I have a great interest in and would like to contribute to. One of them being infrastructure, and I didn't realize that infrastructure across Canada is crumbling. Our infrastructure is about 100 years old, and our pipes are breaking and they need to be replaced. You all voted at the last election on a referendum to put money towards replacing these pipes. And so far, I haven't seen a lot of that done, and I'd like to focus on that. The same way that I run my own household. I pay cash for everything, I don't go into debt. I save up money and I spend it on important things. I delegate needs before wants, and I think we need to do that in the city. As I said, I've lived here for about 10 years, and I've really grown to love this town, and I know many of you out there, except looking out of the crowd of friends to me. And I just hope that they'll give me the chance to be on council. I'm going to be down at the post office talking to people, and that's just not for campaigning. I plan on campaigning after I'm elected as well, and staying down there to hear your concerns afterwards. But I'm available to you. You don't have to come search me out or email me. I want to be face to face. So thank you, and you'll vote for me and help restore voice to the people down at City Hall. Thanks very much.
Gary Smith.
Thank you. Hello, I am Gary Smith. 11 years ago, my wife Karen and I moved here from Abbotsford. Back then, I started an agricultural consulting business and worked with 2 of the largest nurseries in our area. Over the years, I have contributed to many volunteer organizations, most notably the 6 years I spent on the volunteer fire department. Through volunteering, I learned much about the community we live in. In 2011, I chose to use what I learned to take on that greater challenge of helping to lead Grand Forks toward a future of greater vibrancy, prosperity, and community connectedness. Upon being elected in 2011, I set upon those things that were of keen interest to me: economic development, the deer issue, and our environmental challenges. On these topics, I could report many things. On the city's environmental challenges, the committee I co-chair can report that our city is well on its way to achieving carbon neutrality by 2030. With regards to the deer issue, the recent meeting with the Minister of Forests, Lands and Natural Resource Operations, Honorable Steve Thompson, has resulted in a commitment by his ministry to the establishment of a ministry-supported committee to address urban wildlife. And finally, with regard to economic development, as co-chair of the Economic Development Advisory Committee, we achieved many goals that we had set for ourselves, and which led to our city receiving the prestigious Open for Business Award at this year's Union of BC Municipalities Conference. I would be happy to discuss at another time in greater detail these successes and other successes and future challenges, and I hope to engage our youth so that they can participate in leading our community forward in the next 4 years. Thank you.
Teresa Taylor.
Good evening, citizens of Grand Forks. My name is Teresa Taylor, and I'd like to be your voice on council. I am running because I have the skill and dedication to represent our community in municipal government and to advocate for the needs of rural BC. My professional and educational background is varied, and this has prepared me well to serve in office. I hold a degree in social work with focus on community development, social management, and policy. I have 20 years in social service experience and 10 years as a marketing and communications consultant. As a professional facilitator, I am called on to gather and share information, research and to write, and most importantly, to hear the voices of a diverse group of people and come to collective decisions. I believe these skills will serve my community well, and I look forward to the opportunity to work towards a vibrant Grand Forks. I have served for 2 years on the City of Grand Forks Economic Development Advisory Committee, advocating for a whole community and lifestyle approach to economic development, supporting arts and culture, education, and healthcare, amongst other things. I hear our community's need for economic diversity, planning for a healthy and sustainable future, and collaborative work through the region to raise the voice of rural BC. I want to be a part of a new leadership for Grand Forks, and I ask for your vote on November 15th.
We're almost at the midpoint, and I'm going to ask Zach Ebert Studley now.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? My name is Zach Ebert Studley. I'm a lifelong resident. I'm an active volunteer. I'm candidate in the organization I have helped with. This is my third time running, so third time's the charm. That'll be up to you guys though. There are many issues in this year's campaign. There's everything from infrastructure to the usual deer to the depleting business community. There are many ways to address these. I hope to investigate those and, come up with some solutions to them. I'm in it for the long haul, some people may just be writing one or two things. I'm in it for the long haul. It's my third time running. I'm a lifelong resident, so I am committed to all the issues that are coming our way. Please contact me anytime you want with any comments, questions, or concerns. I do have these candidates in the back there that have their contact information. So please contact me anytime you want. And once again, thank you for coming up. I'm Zach Ebert Studley. I'll pass over to the next person.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's great to see such a good turnout. When there's such a turnout, we know there's issues that need to be addressed and concerns of so many people. I am happy Portland, and we moved here in 2003. We came because it's a beautiful community. It welcomed us with open arms. Rod worked at Hope and Talbot, and I opened my own business. So for 23 years, I was an administrator, then a personal banker. From that point, I left that and opened my own business, which I've been running now for 15 years. So with that in mind, doing business plans, developing goals, doing public relations, this all comes very naturally, and I have done it for a long time. I'm also an active member of Rotary for 22 years. At this point, I hold a position of assistant district governor, and I'm just finishing that role now. I am just like you. I live, I work, I play in Grand Forks. I think about so many things. I think about our world issues, and today I think that brought it closer to home than ever. And so there are so many things I have no control over whatsoever. But there are other concerns. Our community. In our 11 years here, we have experienced high water, buildings damaged, and I'm going to go really fast now. Our demographics are changing. Our average age is 60 plus. We need to address things like our economic development, accessible medical, all the things that have been identified in the vital signs, which is a tremendous report. So we need to attract and build strong economic base. I think the most important thing to remember is that I have no private agenda. I believe in working together to do the best for our city.
Our 10th speaker is Chris Hammond.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I first drove into Grand Forks in the spring of 1978, helping a friend move here from Vancouver. It was a vibrant little community, and if my memory serves me, I seem to remember it had several car dealerships, jewelry stores, bakeries, many restaurants, and hotels. When I decided to move here in the spring of 2004, I was quite surprised at not only the lack of growth, with the exception of extra foods, but the fact that Grand Forks actually seemed to have grown smaller. Having watched other communities flourish and almost explode by comparison during that same time span, I couldn't help but wonder why we see retail and loss of existing ones, where young people leave the community after graduating for further their education, or because there's a lack of industry to keep them here. It appears that for the most part, new members of our community were seniors looking to retire, so job prospects were an issue for them. Was the lack of growth due to city red tape, making it too difficult for industry or investors to consider us? So many questions and no clear answers. Fast forward to 2012 when our new administrator, Doug Allen, was hired. All of a sudden, we see a new big-flag downtown core, upgrading city infrastructures, new signage welcoming travelers to settle down in our friendly community. All of a sudden, it seemed like our bus got wheels. And although the sunless buses is moving faster, I've noticed a lot of positive changes and initiatives that appear to improve business recruitment and retention. This administration has gone public and announced to the world that Grand Forks is open for business, and the world is listening. We've seen some very positive results already. I don't wish to be a passenger anymore. With your vote, I would like to help steer this bus in the direction of a healthy and economically vibrant community. Thank you.
Larry Barber.
Good evening. Anybody know the value? My name is Larry Barber, and I am candidate for the city of Grand Forks Council. I was born and educated in Grand Forks. I attended trade school in Columbia for carpentry, and I'm friends with Chris Walton of BC. In 1975, I went into business on my own for cabinet making and finishing. I moved to Ontario in 1983, continued my trade and returned to Grand Forks 23 years later. I am currently back in business in Grand Forks working as a finishing contractor. I have a son and daughter. My daughter resides in Oliver, but my son resides in Grand Forks. I am a proud grandfather of 4 grandsons. I currently reside with my 87-year-old mother, who moved to Grand Forks in the 1940s. I have been a member of the Wildlife Heritage Forever Committee introducing sheep health and deer commencing on ethical hunting practices. My interests are the same as yours. I see the city come back to a positive cash flow. I would like to see improvement in our aging infrastructure in sidewalks, roads, utilities. I do not approve of the water metering system. However, I understand the situation that important us commuter citizens. Therefore, with the program already underway, I would like to see it more fair and accountable by council and project committee. I'd like to see the restructure of the current staffing and the city hall in their departments. I would like to see program control policies and bylaws for our city parks. To tell you the truth, I have no political experience. I am thirsty for making community a better place and place me here. I am not going to convince you that I am the very best candidate for this position, but with your support and with mine.
Okay, Mark, please.
Good evening, my name is Juan Mark. Grand Forks has been my home for 60 years. I've been happily married for almost 19 years. I have 6 children, ages from 6 to 46. Presently, my wife, Mela, and I are owners of the Grand Forks Castle Renovation Center, and we've been operating that for 16 years. I started my first business nearly 50 years ago. I have started and operated several successful businesses since. I've decided to run for city council because I feel I owe a lot of my business success to you, Grand Forks. So this city has been very good to me and my family, and now I'd like to give back to my city. I want to offer my skills and my business acumen and to have a part in helping direct the city in a positive direction for growth in the next 4 years. I acquired a lot of business knowledge, and I believe my extensive business background would be a great asset to City Council. I have experience with all facets of running businesses and successful business management. But above all, I found the most important skill that I have learned is to give great customer service and listen to my customers and genuinely care for their wants and needs. I feel that the corporation of the City of Grand Forks should be run as a business by persons with business management experiences.
30 seconds.
After all, it is a corporation. City Council is like the board of directors of a corporation. The elected members of the board give a great level of responsibility and trust. And the responsibility is to get good value for their shareholders, hard-earned dollars, and responsibility to be good stewards of the shareholders' assets. They must never forget that they are responsible.
Michael Vershak.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Vershak, and once again I stand before you, asking for your support in the upcoming municipal election. I'm a third-generation Grand Forks resident who was born and raised in this wonderful little community. And for the past 6 years, I've been honored to serve you, the public, in the position of councilor. I have a vested interest in Grand Forks. I want Grand Forks to be better than it is today. Better for my children, better for your children, better for you. I want to make sure that we continue to look generations beyond our own, and that we continue to take care of those who have taken care of us. Over the past 3 years, much has been done. We have created new sidewalks and pathways, and beautified not only the downtown, but also the boulevards. We have also branded our community, which has increased the exposure that Grand Forks receives regionally, provincially, and internationally. We have been recognized for this by being awarded the prestigious Open for Business Award by the UDCM. We have also seen the opening of a much-needed seniors care facility, allowing us to bring our loved ones home and bring in good-paying jobs and young families. But the past is the past, my friends, and there is still much more to be done. Over the next 3 years, we need to focus in on closing the infrastructure gap. We need to stay at the forefront of asset management in the province of BC. We need to plan for the future. We plan for our own retirement, we plan for our own family's future, so we need to continue to plan for the future of Grand Forks. We need to build an age-friendly community. We need to provide adequate services for all sectors of the population, and in doing so, we need to make sure that we do not take from one to give to another. We need to make sure that everyone is taken care of equally and affordably. We need to keep taxes down. In my 6 years on council, I've voted against the five-year financial plan each and every year as I felt I had too much unnecessary spending. We need to rein in spending. We need to make sure that we only plan for what is needed and necessary, not for what is wasteful and wishful thinking. We need to make sure that everything we do as a city is value for money, and that is why I look to the future, my friends. I do not live in the past. And that is why on November 15th, I ask for your support, that you support me, Michael O'Shea, and vote for you, vision, integrity, and a proven track record. Thank you.
Colleen Ross.
Good evening, welcome on this rainy night. I love the rain. My name is Colleen Ross, and I'm a farmer. I've been farming for over 30 years. Originally, I farmed in Australia after graduating from the University of Guelph with a degree in agricultural science and farm management. And I moved to Australia to work, where I was married and I had 3 children, 30, 28, and my son is 23. I chose to move here because your member of parliament, Alex Adeneko, invited me to come here. I work with Alex in Ottawa because I have farmed in Ontario for 15 years, and as the executive vice president of the National Farmers Union of Canada, I often went to Ottawa to advise members of parliament across all parties. It just so happened that Alex Adeneko, as the agricultural critic, really valued the opinion of the National Farmers Union, and he often asked me to come up and advise him. I also sat on agricultural parliamentary committees as a witness, speaking to important issues, and to the Senate. And I've also worked internationally at the United Nations, representing farmers and peasants, at ministerial World Trade Organization meetings, and in various countries. I've been to every continent in the world, working with women, youth, farmers, peasants, and indigenous people, working for social justice, not just food justice. And having done that work, I realized more than ever that we have to work at home. We have to build our communities. And I chose to come here after Alex invited me, because this is where I wanted to make my new home. I bought a farm here. It's called Grand Union Farms. You can often see me at the farmers market, and tomorrow I'll be delivering food to the Kettle Valley Youth Co-op. I think it's important to have a balance on the board. I have a lot of work experience, a lot of professional experience, but I know what it's like to get your hands dirty, and I'll be doing that tomorrow. And you can see me tomorrow at the Kettle Valley Food Co-op, because I'm going to have a tailgate party at the back of the co-op. Come and see me, share some food. I believe in local food, local farmers, local people.
Monique Van Hewitt.
Good evening, my name is Monique Van Hewitt. I grew up in Casper, so I'm no stranger to small towns. Before moving to Grand Forks, I was a single mom for 5 years. I achieved my business and administration management diploma plus Microsoft Office certification to ensure a career and better future for my daughter and myself. Upon moving to Grand Forks, I'm now married. We have 4 children, ages 2, 9.5, and there's also 2 stepchildren, 14 and 15. And I've been a resident in the area for 3 years. My husband and I both work to pay our mortgage, bills, utilities, taxes, and care for our household. Before returning to work, I attended a group called Baby's Best Chance, which led me to becoming a mentor for some time. I also joined the women's group at the Gospels Church every Wednesday. And now, when my work schedule permits, I enjoy taking my 2 youngest to the Friday First Nations gatherings at the Boundary Family Center. I can admit that when going back to the workforce, it was hard to find a job with my career field. It was not easy, but it was not impossible. I see since being here that our town is having problems. We're not thriving, we're not prospering. We face many challenges with provincial government cutbacks, stores closing due to retirement, and no post-secondary education which leaves our children to leaving after high school. Finding affordable housing is not easy, especially if you have a pet. Everywhere you go, there are rent or lease or sale signs. We need to build on that. We need to showcase who we are. We are very multicultural. We've got Métis, First Nations, Doukhobors, Spiritualists, all within one town. We need to show the people who we are and what we can give them. It is time now to bring that forward. Thank you.
And last but not least, Patrick Fedora.
Thank you. My name is Patrick Fedora. Over the past 45 years, I lived and worked and raised my family in Grand Forks. Prior to retirement for 30 years, I owned and operated a plumbing business in Grand Forks and Trinity speaking. Keep the children thing for Santa Claus. Over the years, I've been active, involved with the annual Grand Forks International Baseball Tournament, the Border Rooms Hockey Club, Whisper of Hope, Best Shelter, and the Royal Canadian Legion, which I'm a member, and Music in the Park, involved with the Canada Trail. I also have 23 years experience as a counselor. During the last 3 years of council, we have upgraded the new wells, which include installation of the generator on each well for the 24-hour protection in the event of a power outage, and saved the taxpayers City of Grand Forks $6 million. We didn't have to build a reservoir. Excuse me, I'll sit down for a second. We have also completed various other upgrades in the parks, campground, and downtown board. We have published a new fire truck, as well as recently completed the paving and upgrade to 68 seconds. I understand that these are hard on we're experiencing, therefore, I would like to work and keep the tax low for residents and local business owners and industry. I would like to ask for your support for the coming election for another term and after retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now, we're going to open the floor to questions, and we're going to start with media. So I'm going to ask our representative who wants to present to start it off. He will not be asking a question to every candidate. He will ask one question. We're going to give him an opportunity to ask 4 questions, though. And candidates, remember, you have those rebuttal options. You can exercise that twice. All right, first question.
Okay, for Gary Smith, this past year, the council was, I believe, just fixed 68th. As far as the infrastructure, a lot of them pushed forward to the future. I'm just wondering, what do you think should be done about with roads and sewers and water structure in terms of improving the infrastructure?
Well, one thing that I think we all need to understand is when we have the referendum questions on the boring bylaw that last election, it was about just us going out and borrowing money and putting in all the infrastructure. It was about leveraging that borrowed money against matching grants from both the provincial and federal governments. If we had gone ahead and just borrowed the money and done all that work ourselves, our community and every taxpayer here would have been on the dole for the amortization of the entire amount, which would have meant a severe and unrealistic rise in taxes. So that's why we've done what we can as a reasonable measure, and are working with Courtney Oakes from the ministry, hopefully for this Build Canada grant that's coming out, that we can apply what we've asked for from the community to actually move ahead with infrastructure.
Just on the is there any candidate that wants to pick up on this?
Okay, next question. Okay, for Chris Hammonds. You talked about the economic downfall in the recent couple of years, and what would your plans be to improve business and economics in Grand Forks?
Actually, I think things are on track to recovery. I'd like to be part of the team that continues on that track. It has gone down from what I've seen, but like I said, in 2012, it's been starting to change. What we're seeing right now with empty storefronts is the city can't do anything about landlords that want to retire. And all we can do is let the world know that we have something to offer here and make it attractive for them to come and sell. And hopefully open up new businesses.
Any candidate? Yes.
Well, I'd like just to say that we need to be open for business and not just hoping for business. We need to get specific on what kinds of companies we want to see come to town, what type of industry we want to see here. We've got to be specific because we don't want to end up with a company that's going to pollute our rivers or destroy our air quality. And so this is how corporations can flourish here, and then let's go out and get them, let's go and find them. And just talking with people the last little while at the post office, you guys have all got great ideas about how you can help fix this community. One suggestion I heard the other day that I thought was interesting was for the storefronts downtown, they're all quite large spaces, and when you go to places like Nelson that are prosperous, all their stores are small little boutiques. And perhaps if we could subdivide up those stores and make them smaller, the rent could be smaller, we could fit smaller stores in there, and they might have a better chance of making it. So I got lots of ideas, but I'm going to get cut off, so I'll pass it back to them.
We've got a speakers list of 3 now. Okay, Ron, go ahead.
I get to finish my speech now. I think we know in the city of Grand Forks, we're facing some pretty great economic challenges. And the closing of the businesses and losing retail services. And, it has to have a negative impact on our town. And at the same time, it also gives a negative impression to businesses, potential businesses, and people who want to move to Grand Forks. So what I'd like to do is I want to move toward a positive image for Grand Forks. So I want Grand Forks to be unique and special, and so that businesses and people want to come here. And along with people coming here to businesses, there means job opportunities and growth. I'd like to see a complete makeover of our city's image. Something bright and sunny, and we have to have an image that will reflect what Grand Forks is all about.
30 seconds.
We are the Sunshine Valley. Well, I'd like to see something like a logo or a slogan that says, Solar City of Canada. We have a great amount of sunshine. We have to look at the positive aspects of our city here, and that will bring people in.
What was it?
I think we gotta start saving some money in this town.
Could you please, Lori?
I think we gotta start saving some money in this town, so I think we're gonna start right where the problem is. In, the city offices. We're getting a lot of expense that we don't need. And we also gotta go into their departments. We need work done, not coffee breaks. We have to end coffee breaks.
30 seconds.
This is where I think we should start one point, but then we've got a lot of other points we have to go through. So this is one big policy to get going. Thank you.
Any interested in participating in this one? Yeah, okay, it's yours.
For me, it's about changing back, looking at what Grand Forks used to be. At one time, we were the main supplier of vegetable seeds in Canada. Right now, everybody's looking for GMO-free seeds. Why are we not looking into becoming a distributor and exporter of those GMO vegetable seeds? We are a border town. We need to look into importing and exporting industries, and it's just chances. We need to find those to bring them in. We have connections right to the coast. We are a main town for transportation. We need to help build upon that. Thank you.
Yes. You're gonna pass? Then I have Zach and Christine.
In terms of the retirement businesses, people that decide to retire for whatever reason, close their doors. A good solution to that some communities have worked with is setting up sort of like a co-op program. So the city, the community as a whole buys that building. I'm not talking about coming to the city's pocket, I'm talking more like the Phoenix Foundation, when you or whoever wants to donate some money, and that money goes towards purchasing that building, which would also maintain the jobs that that business may have, and keeps those products in here. Right now, we have no real clothing stores, we have
30 seconds.
set up like that, and you might start a clothing store and a couple of jobs. And so all this is just a nice simple co-op program. And again, not coming out of the city's pockets, coming out of the community's pockets, and as they want.
No one likes to see the empty storefronts on Market Street, Market Avenue. There's been retirements, illness that have resulted in business having to close. But having said that, if we're going to encourage small business to come and set up in our city, we have to support them. Too often, too many people are taking their dollars and spending them out of our city.
30 seconds.
And so I would encourage all of us, myself included, that if we are fortunate enough to regain a good quality clothing store, a shoe store, another drugstore, or whatever business comes in, that as a community, we support them.
Okay, anything else? Oh, wait a second, you still want to respond to this question? Yep.
I have a small business, and I know exactly what we're talking about when we're saying people are going across border, leaving town. I leave town to do business because I need that to keep my business alive. And I have been in business for 15 years, and I intend to stay there, but it needs the support of the community. I love what I do. I love our town. We need to develop those boutique stores, just as Nelson does, but we need to support them. If we keep going elsewhere for everything, we're not going to be able to. And I understand that we don't have all the services we would like to have, all the stores. But if we would support them, we will bring them back. We just have to stand up and do that. And I know how much it's appreciated here. Thank you.
I'm going to just take that one step further. I think when it comes to somewhere like Market Avenue, the original intent of Market Avenue was to be for services, for boutique type services, as opposed to services for locals, the hair salons, the insurance places, and those are valuable services. We need those in our community, but I think there should be some initiative to guide the way the development happens in the city. And so if we want people to come to a Market Avenue, then that should be in Market Avenue as opposed to a service avenue.
Okay, next question.
This is for Teresa Taylor, and it's kind of, you just answered. But what is your vision of progress for Grand Forks? What would you like to see done?
Well, it's interesting because you say Grand Forks, and way to stop that. Okay. I think. Okay. I think that it's important to recognize that we all consider ourselves residents of Grand Forks, whether we live within the city limits or whether we live in Area D. So I think that when we say what do we want for Grand Forks, I think we really have to have a community vision that extends beyond those boundaries and recognize that what is good for the city of Grand Forks is good for a lot of people in the boundary country. And what I would like to see what that brings for me is economic diversity. It's a vibrant downtown core, it's arts and culture, it's community, it's supporting young families and what their needs are, whether that's diverse education opportunities, employment opportunities, that sort of thing. So really moving forward into the future with a vision that sees us go beyond a retirement community and start attracting more opportunities.
Any other candidate want to pick up on that question? Would you repeat the question?
What is your vision of progress for Grand Forks?
You're going to move forward, Junior? Sorry.
Thank you. Having recently been here, I've only been here for a couple of years now, and I have traveled extensively. One of my visions is not a Walmart or McDonald's. What we need to do, as we said already, is we need to really, really support the businesses that are already here. I live on the fringe. I'm into Area D, but I bet you I got here faster tonight than some of you who live in the city. I also farm just right here, just across from the soccer field with my buddy Tim on land. I'm farming it right in the city. Most of my food is sold here in Grand Forks, so we have a food court in the farmers market. But there's not enough people to even buy that food. We really, really need to celebrate what we have here, and I'm all about the arts and music and theater. We have so much to celebrate here, and I just think we really need to just capitalize on that. And and also, where's Market Avenue? I have people who drive through here all the time, friends, and they didn't know it was a Market Avenue. They live in Nelson, and they come into the Rails and Trails, and I met them in a coffee shop on Market Avenue, and they said, you know,
Okay, next question.
Okay, I think this is my last one for Julia Butler. If you got on council, and how do you think you would work with others, particularly if you may not agree with them on certain issues?
I think Patrick likes that question. I've played on sports teams my whole life. I've been used to competition, and I've been used to playing with many different people, and a lot of times with sports teams, you end up switching teams, and the next year you end up playing against your competition. If people are doing a good job and they have the best interests of this town at heart, I think we'll work together just fine.
Anybody else want to take up that question? Okay, thank you very much. We're now going to open up questions from the audience. 2 mics in the aisles. Any person in the audience would like to bring forward a question, please make your way. Be sure to identify yourself and who you're directing the question to.
David Jackson, this is a question to Patrick. In your opening, whatever, you were saying that you wanted to protect the people of Grand Forks against a tax increase. Yet, Patrick, you voted for a tax increase. Can you explain that to us, please?
I voted for the tax market on the end of war in Roxall. I voted to put them down.
Patrick, you voted to take big industries taxes down. and pass along that shortfall to the residents and businesses of Grand Forks. It's on film.
Well, and Vauxhall, and I'll tell you something, these companies are having a good time and rough time, and they hire 500 people. You start raising their taxes, and they're going to leave town, and the business people in town are going to be hurt.
Next question, we'll go to the other mic.
Hi, I'm Nadine Hyber, and we're concerned, I'm deeply concerned about the lobbying issue. I spoke to Fred Hattigan, and he said on the coast, I don't know if it was Abbotsford or Surrey, when they introduced the idea of water meters, and people said, no, we don't want them, so they dropped it. Here in Grand Forks, there was a petition submitted by John Semina, who collected 800 signatures against the water meters. When the city applied for a water meter grant, they were turned down a few times, and they decided to use the gas tax money to.
Okay, Nadine, you need to get to a question.
Okay, I would like to ask Julia, because the people of Grand Forks don't want water meters. Would you pick up the ball and recycle the whole program just to put everybody back on the positive edge again? Because people like me have spent 30 years planting their gardens and taking care of the fruit trees.
Okay, that's the question, Nadine, that's good. You've got only 1 minute, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can totally sympathize with Nadine. I've been down to council for the last 9 months trying to talk to them about this issue. And if I were on council, first of all, I don't want to lose a lot of money for the city. They're locked into a contract right now with Neptune that we haven't even been allowed to see the whole contract. So first of all, we have to take a look at that contract. I'd like to see council put a moratorium on the water meters until the town can be properly consulted, and then we can hold town hall meetings to find out how people want to proceed with this. Number one, I don't think council has any right going into anyone's homes here and forcing their way in, including us. And for those of you out there that weren't clapping, if you want water meters in your houses, you can keep them. That's your choice, but give the people the choice.
Okay. Okay, next question. Just a minute, Neil, you want to? Neil, you got the floor.
Hi, I'm one of the existing council, and I support water meters for various reasons, everything from conservation to protecting valuable resources. We have had to date over 1,020 meters have been installed, have been booked to be installed. The company has been very supportive, or the community has been very supportive of the program, and there have been very few complaints. Any complaints have been addressed immediately. Contrary to what is being said, the city is within the 30-foot hour. Also, if for some reason the meters leak and cause damage, the city will address the problems immediately and will not expect the owners to cover any of the costs. Council has heard individuals' health concerns, and they listed everything from cancer, autism, ALS, effects of breast milk causing tumors. I'm not an expert, so I defer to the expert.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll use it as a wrap-up.
Okay, lady over here. Oh, wait a sec. Chris wants to weigh in.
Yeah, thank you. The petition was referred to, and over 800 signatures. It's my understanding that the petition was presented at the City of Jersey Drafts. I asked recently if I could see the petition to verify all of the signatures against the voters list that I have as a candidate. And I was advised that I would have to go through the Freedom of Information Protection Privacy Act, that personal information relative to the signatories to the petition would have to be removed. So I have not pursued that.
Okay, last call. Okay, don't see the others. Okay, you have it.
Hi, my name is Bella Fay, and I'm a member of the BC Women's Institute. And I want Kathy Crowley, is that your name?
Yes,
To answer this question. Are you in favor of continuing the work already started in building the sidewalk from 27th Street to 19th Street along 72nd Avenue towards Extra Foods?
Well, I think safety is a concern of everyone, and if that's what it takes, then of course. I don't know the financial implications or anything that's in the plans now. I am not cognizant of the strategic plan or anything at that point. But I am concerned about the safety of our citizens, and if that's what it takes, then I guess that's where we're going to have to head. I think that's an important thing.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to exercise with the rebuttal? No. Okay, go to the next one.
Ron Stevenson, Owen, resident of Area D. I want to put this question to Ron O'Shea. Michael, in your opening statement, you mentioned that you were advocate for youth and the future of the city. In the past, we've seen such projects as the Outdoor Fitness Center, the Recreation Park, the PATS project in Grand Forks. Focusing on business is one of them, but how do you see yourself continue to promote Grand Forks as an area that's vibrant and exciting, provides a lot of services for its citizens, especially youth? How do you see proceeding that in the future? What are your views on that?
Well, I think it's Ron for that. That's a good question. In the past, I've been the person who brought forward the motion to put in that outdoor fitness park. I was also the person responsible for bringing forward the idea of the rugby field or multi-use field in City Park. I think we have to be able to, in terms of businesses, be able to get a good paying job in this community that will lead to younger families moving here with kids, and once you have that, you can start to build on the infrastructure necessary to facilitate their needs.
No one else?
Michael?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that I feel we really do need more things for our youth to do in this community. And I'm all for supporting anything that's going to give our youth things to do and activities. Like myself in the past, when I was 30, 40 years ago, when I was 30, 40 pounds lighter, I was a karate instructor, volunteer for the youth nonprofit karate club here.
30 seconds.
Okay, so think like I was St. John Ambulance cadet superintendent for the youth. And there's a number of things. I support the local hockey teams and any physical activities that we might have here to just direct our youth toward more recreation activities as we do.
Anybody else want to weigh in on the question? Now, we've got 4 people that are lining up. These are the final 5. Okay, and then we were going to move into the closing statement portion. So we'll move to this one.
I'm ready to go ahead. The question is for Richard Fountain. What qualification and skills will you bring to the new council?
When I was my business in Richmond, I also was business development.
Put your mic closer to
Business development consultant to the council in Richmond. When we moved to the Forks, I was in the tourism committee for several years and labor and economic development. pioneer program. And I feel that I could be, my knowledge from business, I could be a good input for the council. And also, I would like to restore the connection between the council and the citizens in the discussions, not to ignore us. And also not to be shy, call ourselves civil servants again.
Hello, my name is Sam Jetson, and I'm here to ask a question. I hear a lot of talk about keeping young families in the area, but very little talk of just keeping young adults in the area, which I think is very important. I was just wondering how you would get more people interested in this area and keeping businesses open later, maybe as an option. Zach.
Just as a business idea, I always thought somebody having, to keep it sustainable for all the businesses involved, having some sort of business that's coffee shop, bistro during the day and nightclub at night, I think that would definitely help, keep somebody here. In other ways, definitely try to look at getting more jobs here because, well, we're both on the same team looking for jobs and we could barely find any, right? There's just no jobs for youth. Everybody wants these things. They want degrees or something, training jobs worldwide, unless you go to one of the restaurants. I love working in a restaurant, but, gotta keep a roof on your head too. But for sure, try to attract businesses that'll keep youth in here. Maybe talk to some potential investors and say, hey, what about this? Or talk to maybe Coca-Cola wants to team up with another business and have a nightclub at night, right? There's different options like that, but definitely.
These are your two options, I'm sorry. Oh, I did? You did? Anybody else? Hey, Gary?
I think one way is to actually engage some of the youth that are over here to develop ideas of how we do keep our young families, not just our young families, but our young adults here. And I think formation of a youth council will be beneficial. I've got an email in with Sarah Graham, who is the coordinator for the City of Victoria's Youth Council. And I've asked her if she can provide some information and tips on how we might do the same for Grand Forks. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
No, you have your shot. So, next, anybody else want to? No? Okay, next question.
This is for Mr. Mark. Previous and current councils divert large amounts of money from the electric utility fund to finance projects that have nothing to do with the electric utility. For fiscal year 2014, $435,000 was budgeted for such diversion. Residents of Records do not pay the city for electricity, yet they benefit from the excess taxes the rest of us pay. At the present time, the electric utility is the only utility that is rated in this fashion. What is your opinion on this, and would you be willing to eliminate this unfair taxation?
Just only a point of information I have regarding the figures, but I do not agree with that. And I paid no taxes already. And anyway, one idea I have was to have Grand Forks in the forefront of being a solar city and generate our own renewable energy, which would be quite a savings in the city. And like I said, we have the most, I think we have the most sunshine hours here in BC.
30 seconds.
And we must look into see what government can get and really put Grand Forks on the forefront as a leader in the renewable energy sector to to offset our taxes, and there's great savings there. I'm gonna build a home that's gonna be totally solar off the grid. So,
Anybody else want to exercise a rebuttal motion? Okay, next question.
Sure, I'm Graham Watt. I work on the Kettle River. It's part of my job to kind of keep my fingers on the pulse of the Kettle River and also pay attention to what's going on in the world. Many of you spoke of growth in the city, and Chris Hammond, I want to ask you to start the conversation there. Nature is finite, and the world is unraveling. In the last 30 years, we've lost 50% of animal biodiversity in the world, and global climate disruption is having an effect near and far. So this has challenges both in terms of emissions as well as in terms of adaptation and resilience. So could you present a vision of what resilient and sustainable growth is in an area in rural BC that's dependent on transportation and extractive resource use?
Well, I think high-tech industry is a good option. Their location can be anywhere. They don't need to be in a large city. Grand Forks would be a prime location for them. Environmentally friendly. I'd like to see a diverse variety retail sector that would stop people from leaving town to go buy things. Because when somebody leaves town, they don't buy, whether it's clothes or shoes, or even leaving that crossing the border for cheap gas, they're gonna buy something when they get something else in new town. So we need a stronger retail sector with bigger variety to encourage people to stay here and support local. Thanks for that question, Graham. I totally agree, the world is unraveling, and we are experiencing climate chaos. Grand Forks is an arid zone. I lived in Australia, it is an arid country. I know what it's like to live in an arid country, and this is an arid zone. I think we need to really manage ourselves differently. We talk about managing resources, but I think we need to manage ourselves. We need to manage the way that we use our resources. I'm really encouraged by the talk of solar. I think we need to look at genuine green technologies, such as solar, and green jobs. And there's something called transition towns, which are low carbon footprints. Yes, we need sidewalks, and we need genuine bike lanes to encourage people to ride their bikes and to walk. To make this town just be a green town. And hey, yeah, let's make it a GMO-free town while we're at it.
You can always just ride your bikes that way with us all the time. And actually, that's one of the reasons we actually moved to Grand Forks, is because we had sidewalks and we had trees. And I treasure my maple trees. I know Rod may not, because he has to bring all the leaves. However, they help with the biodiversity because its processes are there. Once we take all the trees down, we have no water or ground protection that holds the water. It just runs off. And yeah, we can walk places in town. I know not everybody lives in town, but we have some paths already in place. We can use our bikes. We can walk. It also gives us a healthier lifestyle when it starts to do that. I think the words are the plans are in the works. We just have to follow through and make them better for all of us.
Last question.
Hi, my name is Arlena Wallace, and this comment / question is actually for the current council, because the new people running for council this time around could not possibly be held accountable for what I'm going to ask. I'm curious as to why there is a marijuana dispensary in Grand Forks, specifically on 68th Avenue, and why, as a resident of 68th Avenue, was I not consulted about this along with my neighbors. What's next? Pedophiles moving into our neighborhood and us not being told about them?
You need to ask one specific council.
I don't know who's accountable, who did this, who decided it. It's an open question to current council members.
You have to pick somebody, and it's not someone who's going to volunteer for this.
Just because I didn't hear it all, the phrase was, you're not happy with the way 68 has been repaid.
The question why was a marijuana dispensary put on 68th Avenue, specifically right by Tomcat? And why, as a neighbor of, I live on 68, why wasn't I or my fellow neighbors informed of this before it ever opened? Apparently it's been up and running for 3 months. So what's next? Pedophiles in our neighborhood?
Okay, now I understand the question. All I heard was 68 part. The city has nothing to do with where business sets up with its own property. That's the answer. The city didn't do anything.
Why weren't they told about before it was going up?
Okay, this is a follow-up question. I understand you're upset, but that's
yeah. So the way business works is if the property you want to open a business in is zoned properly, you open the business. You don't have to tell your neighbors that you're opening a business. And it's not the responsibility of the city.
okay. Thank you to all the audience members for being forward to ask questions. We are now going to move into our concluding statements portion of our forum. We are going to go in reverse order from how we started. So we are going to start with the last speaker in the opening remarks, and that would be Mr. Patrick Doherty. You've got 2 minutes, Patrick.
Thank you. I will ask for support for another term. I am working hard on the water and sewer to finish the upgrade, and I want to see the sidewalk between 19 and Silver Kettle done this curb, and also working on 19th Street in the hospital Grand Forks and other roads and sidewalk in town. And I'm working with the Zorro for the water park in the city park, which I would like to see done if I get re-elected. Thank you very much.
I'm
going to open up a brothel.
Well, I'd like to start off with saying that we don't have all the answers. I've never run for council before, but I am a hardworking, dedicated person. I will listen to you people that I will work for to ensure the answers are found. I looked into the deer culling and find out that it is a provincial government authority responsibility for approving and monitoring the culling. Myself, I oppose to deer culling when it cannot be justified and done humanely. Culling is a short-term unsustainable solution. In particular, discrimination calls recently conducted in several BC communities who may not cover great deer species, gender, and age that are most concerned to residents, costing taxpayers hundreds of dollars per deer killed. That alone is the reason that I, once on council, like to work with the Deer Advisory Council to develop a humane and justified solution to deer per deer. I feel that together, as a community, we have the ability to grow and change this town. As a future local council member, I would like to be there to help you and this town grow, to be your voice as a citizen of this Grand Forks, as a taxpayer of Grand Forks, to ensure we are all served fairly. Thank you.
Next, colleague Ross, followed by Michael.
Well, hasn't this been fun? I believe in multi-generational communities. I love multi-generational households. I have the pleasure of having my daughter, partner, and my newborn grandson with me here. But sadly, they're leaving, they're going back to Ontario because they're both professionals, and it's really hard to get really good employment here, and it really saddens my heart. I've seen a lot of young people come into my life here, a young chef named Kevin, who I absolutely adore, and her husband who works in graphic arts, and they moved back to Ontario, to Vancouver. And I lost 2 friends. It's really hard. We need to keep these young people here. I love this town. I am from LA, but I think most of us are, many of us are. When I was standing outside of Hawaii today, I met this wonderful older young woman who's been here since 1939. And I just, the richness of this community, the richness of the Duke-Bar community is what drew me here. As a farmer, I just really celebrate that history. But I think we can always do better. I can always do better. I'm not perfect. I'm the first one to say I screwed up. But I really believe in the democratic process. I am a hard worker. As soon as I got here, I had done a project with the Agricultural Society of Grand Forks in the Boundary Region. I'm now on the board of the Agricultural Society of Grand Forks in the Boundary Region as vice president. And I take that very seriously. I'm not just about food and farming. I'm about sustainable communities. I'm about democracy. I'm about participatory democracy, which means that we need to hear from you, because I am one of you. That is who I am. And I just invite you on Sunday to come and see me between 2 and 4:30 at the Women's Center, and again next Saturday at the Women's Center from 2 to 4:30. And tomorrow I'll be sitting on my tailgate at the back of the Kettle Valley Food Store, which is at the second-hand bookstore, bike store on Market Avenue. We're in the back of the Kettle Valley Food Store. I'll put my food that I harvest tomorrow morning, and I'll sit on my tailgate and come and see you. Thank you.
Michael Vershagin, followed by Glenn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I stand here once again, asking for your support in the upcoming municipal election, I ask that you consider a few things as we head to the polls on November 15th. First off, the 16 people running for 6 spots, education and experience are of the utmost importance. I studied urban geography, city planning, and political science at UBC after graduating from here at GFSS, and have since completed a certificate in local government financial administration, as well as a national advanced certificate in local government administration from Dalhousie University. I also run a small business. Secondly, I think it's important to look at where do the candidates live? Do they live within the city boundary or outside the city limits? This to me is key. As while the individual people to live outside the city limits who run and the elected council decisions they make on taxation from service fees due to charges utility rates and the like do not affect them. Those who live outside the city limits have their own order of government they can run for, Area D. I live within the city limits, which means any and all my decisions that I make directly affect me. This is what I mean when I say I have a vested interest. That is why I stand up for the taxpayer, because I am one of them. I work for you. If elected, their decisions will not affect them. They can head home outside the city boundaries. I do not have to worry about the tax increase, the utility increase, the spending increase, or the water meter disapproved, because they will never have to. Thirdly, the 16 candidates must attend a single city council meeting within the past 3 years to familiarize themselves with the subject matter. Are these 10 single issue candidates who can jump on the bandwagon and hopefully get elected, trying to ride a wave to shore, or do they actually start a plan that is bigger than a single issue? I just wonder, if it wasn't important enough for them to attend council meetings in the past 2 years, why is it so important now? That, of course, is important to me now and then. This is why I call it home, and this is why I've always called it home. So on November 15th, I ask that you vote for someone with youth vision, integrity, and a proven track record. On November 15th, I ask that you re-elect me, Mike Vershagin, into a third term. Thank you.
Okay, Dunbar, followed by Larry.
Well, I'm going to share with you personal purposes. I don't have that, but I do have a master's degree in the School of Hard Knocks. Right there in the front line. So, anyway, when the local media asked me to describe myself in 3 words, I thought of the usual part located, reliable, etc. Good looking. Who am I kidding? No? The only woman who thinks I'm good looking is the woman who married me. And even my children think I have a face like a bulldog. thing that one media asked me was, what makes you stand out as a candidate? Well, I have innovation. I think outside the box. Oh, by the way, the 3 words that I've come up with that describe me would be make things happen. When you elect me to city council, I will not take your trust or my responsibility lightly. I will work diligently with integrity and honesty with you, the shareholders of this corporation, the city of Grand Forks. I will work for the best interest of the city, for your city, and my city, and the city of our children. I still have 2 children here. I have 4 that's grown. Elsewhere, I have 2 children that's still coming up.
30 seconds.
So on November 15th, I humbly ask you for your vote for city council. Thank you.
Next speaker is Larry Padua, followed by Chris Hammond. Larry, take it away.
I don't have a lot to say, but we need things done. We have problems with drainage, roads, sidewalks. We have a history in Grand Forks. We usually have a beautiful sign. Now we have something that I don't understand what it stands for. We have a huge problem. We've got to do something about it, but we've got to do it in such a way that the people are going to be happy with it. That's about all I have to say. I just would like to say good luck to everybody. May the best men and women win. Thank you.
Chris Hammond is next, followed by Kathy.
Well, having spent the last 10 years working for our local newspaper, I've had the great pleasure of meeting most of the business owners and their staff, as well as a great many more community members within our area. I've seen some businesses thrive, others have closed, and I've listened to many of their concerns. Recently, I've been the director and vice chair for the Downtown Business Association in Grand Forks, and I was the account manager and associate publisher for the Gazette. Previously, prior to moving here, I chaired the marketing committee for the Downtown Landing Business Association and sat on the City of Landing Business Recruitment and Retention Committee. During my tenure with the Gazette, I demonstrated that I'm committed, hardworking, and dedicated. And with your vote, I'd like to use these traits and work on a winning team to help our community flourish. Thank you.
So I've listened to all the candidates, and good luck to everyone. And I decided that I have only held 2 jobs in my whole life outside of my home. I've worked in a bank for 23 years. I've had my own business for 15. So obviously, I'm very steady and stable. And I love what I do. I get to meet people all the time. It's just a great job. And this morning, I found that our world changed once again. I was thinking about how inconsequential we are in the overall scheme of things. Then I realized it begins with us, the grassroots. It's up to us to ensure we do the best we can for our community, to protect our resources for now and the future. And in closing, I will leave you with a few promises. But before I do that, I do live and I do work in the city of Grand Forks, right downtown actually. So my promises are to listen to your concerns, and I always do that. To respect all your opinions, whether I agree with them or not. And if I don't know the answer, I will find it and I will get back to you. I will pay attention. And lastly, the other night I heard someone say, I'll vote for you if you reply to my emails. I will do that. So thank you for your time and your attention. Please vote for an informed council. Remember, I am just like you. Cast your vote for me, Kathy Carlin, on November 15th. Thank you.
Zach Eber, followed by Teresa.
I'm just going to quickly address the, how do we keep youth here and attract youth question for my statement here. Jerry mentioned youth council. There was a youth council as part of it at one point. We weren't really paid attention to. Maybe that's something we should definitely look into again. And another problem with that is it was just sort of the high school age group. It might be nice to have maybe two groups or one big group of young family age people and high school people, or two separate groups. Another thing, I'm not sure if the city has ever talked to Suffolk College to expand it. I think they replied, the building's not big enough, but there's plenty of space for sale right now for them to buy and expand if that was something that Suffolk was interested in. And the important thing too is to get the younger kids, the preteens, get them involved in the community so that if they want to stay here, so this feels like their home. That's what keeps me here, even though I'm fourth generation, that's what kept me here. All my friends would go to town. I'm here because I was going to the fall fair when I was 9. You know, won first place for zucchini, right? That's what happened here. Okay, so once again, my name is Zach Eber-Sweeney. Thanks for taking the time to come out. I think the candidates for their time for coming out. I think less for broadcasting this. That's also another thing to address with Michael. Sure, some of us may have not at council meetings, but some of us probably watch more council meetings and see the candidates have actually been to. Thanks for James for putting this all together. Thanks for Tom for the sound for me. Once again, I'm Zach Eber-Sweeney. Feel free to talk to me. I'll probably be cleaning up tables and everybody's security on that. Talk to me anyway.
Teresa Taylor, followed by Gary.
I had some thank yous on the list as well. I want to thank the audience for your participation. I think we're in a room full of community leaders. You're all showing initiative in coming out here and being informed voters, and that's very commendable. Thank you to the Boundary Chamber for organizing and supporting this community. And thanks to the candidates. We've got 16 people running, 8 of which are women, which is 50%, which is it takes a lot of courage. It's a thankless, highly criticized position to be here, for sure. I moved here in 1996, and I have something I call the Gumbo story. So Dave Soroka was way back there, and he was playing music at the Grand Forks Hotel, and there was a man dancing in gum boots. And at the time, I lived in Okanagan, and I took one look at that and I went, wow, this is a different kind of place. But I think what that represents to me is the spirit of this community, which is full of hardworking and genuine people. And that's the spirit that I believe in. And those are the qualities that I want to see us leverage. And I think that that is our role here on council, is to engage the community and find that power in those numbers. I want to see us plan for future growth that maintains values, that maintains the quality of life for the people that we have here in our community. And I want to make our rural voice heard by aligning with the region. We're a small community. We live in a bunch of interconnected small communities across the Boundary region. And I think in order for people to hear us, we need to band together. So again, I ask for your support at the polls on November 15th. Thank you.
Gary Smith, followed by Julia.
Thank you. At the end of the forum in 2011, prior to my election, my last words were, let's get her done. Well, we've been working at it, and I think we've been pushing that stone up the hill quite a ways, and I think we just need to continue doing that. I think there's a lot of momentum we've gained, and we just got to forge that and keep pushing that stone up the hill. So on November 15th, let's get her done.
Well, it's nice to stand up and stretch your legs. You guys have been here a long time. Michael O'Shagan had a good talk about people coming up to council meetings and living within city limits. And I have taken a lot of time to those council meetings, but another thing you have to do when you go to those meetings is read the hundreds of pages of reports and policies and a lot of community charter, the sustainable community development plan. And so I have kept myself informed on these issues. But what I've noticed is that the provincial and federal governments make policies that they kind of force down on communities that they have to do if they want to get grants. And that can be kind of challenging, because I think as council, we ought to be taking our directives from the bottom up, taking our directives from the community, and then advocating the provincial and federal governments to listen to the members in our community. So that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get specific on issues rather than saying generally, let's improve economics, let's improve this. I want to find a specific thing and then go after it. I've read a lot of these reports and they're very general. And I'd like to see things narrowed down and action taken on them. So yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to contact me about, I'll be down at the post office whenever the rain stops. You can come in and talk to me there. And there's a lot of people out there that have really good talks tonight, and it's going to be a tough decision for you. But just because you're good at public speaking doesn't mean you make a good candidate. So take the time maybe to come down and talk to these people one-on-one and see who they are. Thanks for coming.
Christine Thompson, followed by Lorraine.
Let me begin by thanking the Boundary Regional Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this evening's forum, and thank you, Michael, for once again so ably facilitating it. I live in the city of Grand Forks. I pay property tax and utility levels to the city of Grand Forks. I have a vested interest in how our city is run and managed. As the current president of the Phoenix Foundation of the Boundary Communities, Director and Assistant Treasurer of the Grand Forks and District Welfare Society, Treasurer of the Boundary Peace Alliance, Member of the Gilpin Grasslands Committee, former Secretary Treasurer of the Boundary Restorative Justice Program, former Chair of the Concerned Citizens for Community Health Care, a 6-year Director on the Board of Hardyview Lodge, and a 13-year Director of the Grand Forks District Savings Credit Union. I have demonstrated my commitment to our city and its citizens. I have heard the issues brought forward by you this evening and welcome the opportunity to discuss them with you. I bring to the table the skills, knowledge, and desire to be a team member on your city council. I am honest, reliable, and responsible. I ask that you vote for me, Christine Thompson, on November 15th.
Now we have 3 speakers left to finish up the evening. Lorraine Dick is going to be next, followed by Nicole Prague, and we're finishing off with Richard Fausta. So, Lorraine.
Thank you. And I repeat all the thanks that everybody who has either attended or organized this meeting tonight. One topic that hasn't been discussed and yet is very high on the needs of Grand Forks is tourism. I've served on the tourism committee of the Economic Development Task Force. I've been going through 12 years of reports. Every single report has recommended that Grand Forks and Boundary create a destination management organization. A destination management organization allows accommodators to charge bed tax. Oh, another tax. Now, this bed tax is being paid by almost every tourist in BC except here. We're not on an even playing field with marketing our town because we don't have this extra fund from which to market our town. We need to encourage the creation of a destination management organization so that we can get on the same playing field as the rest of the province as far as marketing our tourism, marketing our town. I'm honored to be sitting up here with all these wonderful and intelligent people, and
Oh, I want to quote a counselor from last year, last election. He said that in order to function properly, a city must seek and not discourage public input. Communication and decision-making must be inclusive of and responsive to all our citizens' needs. Thank you.
Okay, I was just gonna say goodnight. But I didn't get to answer the question. I just got to the good parts. As I stated, when it comes to water meters and people's health concerns, I'm not an expert, so I refer to the experts. Based on scientific evidence, Health Canada has determined that low-level exposure to radio frequency energy from any Wi-Fi equipment is not dangerous to the public. This conclusion is consistent with the findings of other international bodies and regulators. There's three big ones: Health Canada, World Health Organization, and then IARC. In 2002, IARC published a paper and said that electromagnetic fields are possibly carcinogenic to humans. This classification is used to donate an agent for which there's limited evidence of carcinogenicity in humans and less than sufficient in animals. And it gave it that designation. Other examples that carry that same designation are coffee. Despite extensive research to date on their part, there is no evidence to conclude that exposure to low-level electromagnetic fields is harmful to human health. So it said 30 seconds. Last thing I'll say is, I live in the city of Grand Forks, and I have voted for people from the outlying areas. I want the best people we can get for this city. And just because they're on the other side of the yellow line doesn't mean they're not the best people for it. They do care about the city, and enough people thought they did that they voted for them. So I'm not running on that platform. I live in the city, so vote for me.
And last speaker is Richard Paulson. Richard.
Wow. First, last, anyway, I told you earlier, but I think I'm sick of to the people who got forced, I can stand behind that. And also, I put something a little bit on the back burner when I started, and I was in the advisory committee, and that is transportation between Grand Forks and Kelowna for neighborhood trips. Affordable transportation in this long minibus. And I've investigated the situation that is happening between Gallup Falls and Spokane Airport. It is curable. The first time we tried it, it fell on no financing, and that's probably has to be sorted out and then put it in place. That's my goal, and that's what I'm hoping to do. If you feel like I deserve the X, please go ahead. I would say goodnight. That's my show. I think it's pretty good.
So thank you, candidates, for your tremendous cooperation and the respectful way you behave with one another. It's much appreciated, and it goes well for us after the November 15th election. So thank you for taking part. Thank you to the audience. Drive safely.